By the way, I just yesterday got my second stripe, so I feel so good. It looks so cool. I love it. Yes, Paul had to do it. He already did the first one, his first time ever bleaching hair. So if you're curious about that, here is a video about my stripes in the hair. Yes, my EBV, Epstein-Barr virus, was over. Well, it'll take a long time to fully get over it, but it felt like it was inactive again. So here is part one about my EBV outbreak. We stayed almost 3 months in Ulcinj, Montenegro. And we decided to take a short trip, just 3 nights to Split, Croatia. And the only reason for that was because our friends Lisa and Danny were there. I used to take care of Norman, Lisa's dog, for almost 8 years.
Stay. Release. You're so good, huh?
So I was so excited to go meet them. I mean, they were in Split, Croatia. That's not too far away from Ulcinj, Montenegro. We have to do that. Hi, I am Aline and I am living a nomad life. A little bit over 3 years ago, I got surgery through my nose to get rid of a pituitary gland tumor, but they missed one. So then we flew to Istanbul, Turkey to get gamma knife treatment done. That was in April 2024. And since then, I am a nomad. Well, I was so excited for that trip. EBV, not active anymore, feeling so much better, feeling ready. Yes, let's go. I wish that EBV was still active. That would have been so much easier to deal with than with whatever that was going on during that trip. Paul calls it panic attacks, and yes, he's right. So we spent one night at an apartment in Ulcinj that was very close to the bus station because we had to be at the bus station at 4:30 in the morning. The bus was leaving at 5. So it was so great to travel with just a carry-on and 2 backpacks instead of everything. So that was super cool. At the bus station, it was quite cold. So we went inside and sat there and waited, and it so stunk like pee. We saw a little cat that was kind of inside of the bus station, and Paul thought it's probably the cats that just pee in the bus station. We boarded the bus, this time a big one. In Switzerland, we would call that a car. So it's like a really big bus. Cool. So we sat down and fuck, it still smelled like pee. I was like, oh, did I put one of our bags into the pee at the bus station or whatever? And then I thought like, no, the smell was just still in my nose. Sometimes when I smell something, the scent, the smell still lingers in my nose, even though the smell is already gone for a long time. But no, later on, when it got much warmer in the bus, Paul smelled it too. So it really smelled like pee. So I was wearing a bandana for almost the entire bus ride. But honestly, that pee smell was the least of my concerns. As soon as we got in, I started to feel really sick and nauseous and cold and dizzy. Yes, anxiety attack. I have that a lot before I have to poop. So already at the next bus stop, I got out and I wanted to go poop. So the bus driver said, I have 2 minutes. So I was really under stress. And I found the bathroom. It was like 5:30 in the morning. So it was completely dark. The light didn't work in the bathroom. There were no windows. So I turned the flashlight on my phone, and the bathroom was so fucking gross. Blah. Of course, no toilet paper, but every time we travel or we just go outside, walking around the city or something with our backpacks or fanny pack or whatever, there's always toilet paper in it. So we always bring our own toilet paper. So I had toilet paper. I put it on the ring of the toilet bowl. I always do that if I don't use the toilet at home or where I live. But I didn't even sit on the ring because it was so gross, that toilet. Well, I made it a lot more gross with my diarrhea. Also because I wasn't sitting on the bowl, it kind of went everywhere. Well, not outside the bowl, but like not really in the middle, in the bowl. So kind of when I flushed there, yeah, was still a lot there. Anyways, at least I got some diarrhea out. I rushed back into the bus and hoped that would help. But because a lot of times it helps. Unfortunately, this time, no, it didn't help. I also had the feeling I have to go again soon. And this is so dreadful. When you're in a bus, you have no idea when is the next chance I get to go to the bathroom again. Honestly, it got so bad with my sickness. I didn't know how much longer I could continue. I thought, hey, by the next stop, I have to get out. We have to get out. We have to leave the bus. I can't continue. We'll just be stranded there. I don't know what's going on then, but it was so bad. So sometimes a lot of times when I don't feel good, when I feel nauseous, eating helps. Yes, it somehow calms my stomach. So, okay, I took some meat. I ate a little bit of very lean beef. But no, it didn't help, so I stopped it. It didn't feel good. Not even that helped. Well, the food at least also didn't make it worse. So I figured out the only way it was kind of bearable for me was to sit up, hold on to those handles on the front seat, to look straight out of the window, follow the road with my eyes, and trying to distract myself. As a distraction, I said my mantra in my head. And then at every curve, I said one word of the mantra. And I looked at the clock in the bus and saw how long it would take me to say my mantra once. 4 minutes. I calculated how much time would pass if I said my mantra another 100 times in the same time slot. Then I even started to count the words of my mantra that I kept saying with each curve. So I just tried to distract myself as much as I could. I was so fucking tired, but I know from previous experiences, when I lay down or I close my eyes or both, I get so much more dizzy and nauseous and sick. So I tried to fight it, but my head started to fall down slowly, and I had Mr. Top Sirloin somewhere here with me, and I was still holding on here on the front seat in the bus, and I remember it just like started to fall down slowly, and I think at some point I was on top Mr. Top Sirloin just like this, and my eyes were closed, so I tried to make myself more comfortable, and I think then I leaned on Paul, and I figured out when I keep my eyes closed, it felt so much better. Oh wow, great, I finally figured out what kind of anxiety I had. Yes, I have different kinds of anxieties, and this was the one where everything is overwhelming to me, like all what I see. So everything I see is too overwhelming, so I can't see anything. I know that anxiety. Once we drove from Reno to San Francisco, that's about a 4 to 5 hour drive, and basically the entire time I had to put my head underneath my jacket. So here it wasn't this jacket, but it was like a jacket, and I remember I just had to stay like this the entire drive from Reno to San Francisco because it was just everything was too overwhelming. Well, I was super glad I figured it out what helps the best. So around 9 a.m. they woke up everyone, and we were at the border, so we had to get out and show our passport. It's always easy and quick to get out of a country, but getting into another country sometimes can take a long time, and this time it took very long because they didn't let a guy through, so he had to get all his luggage out of the bus, and they probably sent him back. Back in the bus, I closed my eyes again and slept some more. Around noontime, I woke up and I even looked out of the window a little bit. I did some minor stuff on my phone, and then I started to get nauseous again. So I tried to eat a tiny bit again. No, didn't work, still didn't work. I even threw away some chewed up beef. So the only thing that I could do was closing my eyes, putting my eye mask on, my sleeping mask, and pretend I was asleep. I couldn't sleep anymore, so I just pretended I was asleep, and that's how I survived that dreadful bus ride. In Dubrovnik, I went to the bathroom again to get rid of another load of diarrhea. So 40 minutes before we arrived in Split, Croatia, Paul told me the guy next to him, well, there was the walkway in between, but then the guy next to him, he just came back from the bathroom. What the fuck? There's a bathroom on that bus? Do you know how much that would have helped me? Also, just even to know there's a bathroom. When you're so crazy sick and nauseous and you have diarrhea, you know how dreadful it is not to know when you can go to the bathroom next time. Oh my gosh. And well, it makes sense. This was a really big bus, like we say God in Switzerland. So far, we've only been into little buses, and there, of course, there are no bathrooms. But in that big one, there was one. But I didn't know that. I didn't see that. We got into the bus in the very front, and we sat in the very front, right behind the driver. So we didn't see that. Oh my gosh, that also explains why the driver didn't stop anywhere except for the bus stops. And sometimes there was a long time between bus stops, so he didn't stop for people to get out and pee. Well, because there was a bathroom on the bus. And you know what? It also explains the pee smell in the bus. Getting close to our destination, I was thinking about eating again. This time I ate the fatty parts of the beef roast I had with me. That was it. Oh my gosh, it tasted so good. It felt so good. I needed it. So I ate more and more. I didn't overeat, just, oh my gosh, I mean, I was so hungry. It made me feel so much better. I really was less nauseous. It was great. So I figured it out. I needed fat. I was afraid of the fat, that it would make me more nauseous. It would give me more diarrhea. So I only ate the very, very lean parts. But no, next time I know when I feel nauseous, I need fatty meat. We did make it to Split, Croatia. The entire bus ride took about 9 hours. So we arrived at 2 p.m. And like always after a bus ride, I feel very dizzy. At least this time I didn't see the ground moving in waves, but I felt it like the ground would move in waves. We walked to our apartment, a 11-minute walk. That took us about 20 minutes. Oh well, I was so glad finally in the apartment. I still didn't feel good at all. Paul went back outside to get some food, to smoke a cigar, and just look around. I just stayed in the apartment, and on and off, I felt really dizzy and nauseous and sick, so I really wasn't feeling good. Also headache, a really strong headache. So I took a third of a Tylenol. I was like, fuck it, I already suffered enough. But you know what? At least I wasn't in a fucking driving bus anymore. So I was glad being in an apartment. I was so fucking tired, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna pass out so soon. So Paul came home, and we just talked about something. But then very early on, we tried to sleep around 9 p.m. I think. But yeah, I couldn't fall asleep until, I don't know, 1 or 2 a.m. I always have problems falling asleep, according to my mom, even as a baby. So even when I feel super, super crazy tired and I feel like I just can hit the bed and sleep, no, it just doesn't work that way. Very, very rarely it does. So anyways, but I really didn't feel good. I got hot and cold and hot and cold. And so I was turning on the AC as like up and down, and I was just dizzy, and yeah, hormones, my fucked up hormones with the hot flashes and the cold shivers. I didn't shiver, but I was really cold. Oh, how I would have wished that EBV would have still been active instead of having to deal with those panic attacks. I'm telling you, Paul thinks those anxiety attacks come from my fucked up hormones. Yeah, I don't even have half of my pituitary gland left, so no wonder my hormones are fucked up. Please, God, let me figure out how to make those hormones better. Traveling and living like that is just horrendous and dreadful. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe here to figure out how I was doing in Split, Croatia, and how I survived the bus ride back to Ulcinj, Montenegro. Stay happy, stay healthy, or become happy, become healthy. Bye.